Test, test. All right, everyone, I think we're going to get started. If anyone wants to lead us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Happy to do it.
All right, awesome.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome, and so we're going to start out with a roll call. Can all board members please raise your hand? We have someone just go out. Perfect. And then we're going to ask for the approval of the June meeting minutes. Does anyone want to call for the approval of the June meeting minutes? We got a motion. Anyone to second? Thank you, Rick. And then we're going to call for an adoption of the agenda. Is there anything on the agenda that anyone needs modified, or are we able to approve the agenda? All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Nikki. All right, and then the treasurer's report. Johnny needs, are you still getting ready? All right.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. John Young, your friendly neighborhood treasurer. So you have hopefully in front of you, or not too far away from you, an activity report that counts June and July. So this takes us through July 31st. A lot of activity. I have some stuff to talk about for the first time in a while. Our NSP activity really kicked off in the month of July. You can see a big 6555 outgoing check. That's because we actually paid for our banners. I don't know if we've received them yet, but it's in process. And so that's the vast majority of our NSP funds in 2026. So good, that's great. If you think back to a year ago, we were doing a lot of this activity like in October, in November, pushing right up against the deadline to spend some of this money. So it is a huge relief for me personally that we got a lot of it out of the way in July. Other activities to talk about. We've started to receive some sponsorship in vendor funds for Pumpkin Chuck. I think we'll talk about that more later. But you see that listed there on revenues incoming. Donations came from Kroger for the first time in a while, so that's great. And we paid insurance for the year, so we're caught up with the Bureau of Workers' Compensation for the state of Ohio, and that's a good thing. The other item to note is that we paid for T-shirts or merchandise. I think we'll talk about that later on the agenda as well. But just know that that was an outgoing check for $1,295, and they're selling like hotcakes so far. So we'll see what the appetite is to do an additional order later this year. Are there any questions about our treasurer's activity for June and July? Okay, is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report for June and July? Nikki and then Rick second. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And Leanne, do you want to come up for an NSP report?
Okay, hi everybody. So NSP report, like John said, we paid for our banners. Fortunately, our banners came in $1,000 under budget. Yeah. So with that $1,000, I have filed the paperwork to move the $1,000 from our banner project to beautification. So we're gonna put that towards, our landscaping expense that we already, have approved. So no additional spending on landscaping, but just using the NSP funds instead of our, general funds. We've had 2 chalk art projects so far this year. One part of the rec center summer programs. One was a pop-up in Stanberry Park. So we have 2 more chalk arts left. We plan on, I reached out to Greg about when would work for him. Kind of the plan right now is to have one before the music that SPAC has on September 4th, I think, Friday, September 4th. And then one in addition to the Creek Walk that SPAC is hosting. And we're still waiting for Greg to confirm though. But that's kind of what I was thinking for the rest of that program. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Ann. All right, we're gonna move to our community reports. Do we have any first responders, anyone from fire department or police here? Not today, okay. All right, so the next will be the schools. We have Mt.Washington School first.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Miller. I am the interim principal of Mt.Washington School. Thank you. I've been talking loud all day. It was the first day of school, greeting everybody. It was fantastic. So I'm like, yeah, I'll use my voice. It was a wonderful day today. Seeing all the students, like they were so happy to be back. It was wonderful. And I got to tell you, at our open house the other night, I've been in Cincinnati Public Schools. I was a student, K through 12. And I've been to many different schools. At our open house, I looked outside the door and our parent line with their students was reaching past the driveway onto the site. I'd say we had about 90% of our families show up. That's amazing. That's such a huge, a really good thing for the school as a whole. But what I wanted to share was we have a lot of things ahead that are going to go really great for Mt.Washington. We have a lot of great things to offer. I think many of the strengths from what I've seen, we have strengths in our diversity. We are one of the only elementary schools that offer Spanish as one of our specials, along with gym, art, music. And there's so many different things. Going in, seeing the staff, I just wanted to share, the staff did not have to report back until I believe last week. They have been in since August 3rd getting their classes ready. And I want to share that because that shows how dedicated they are. They decided to volunteer their time to do that. And that's pretty much it. I'm very excited for the school year, just with those 2 things alone. The first day today was amazing. It was very, very smooth. So thank you. And if you have any questions or if you ever want to do anything with the school or need anything at all, like I told my staff and students, I'm an open book, buy the book type of guy. Please come see me. I'll give out my cell phone number. Please call me, email me, text me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next is going to be Sands Montessori.
Good evening. I am excited to come here this evening as well. I am the interim principal of Sands Montessori, Emily Campbell, joined with our resource coordinator, Ms. Marcy, and we have a local school decision-making family member, Ms. McKinney over here, and her 2 sons. We also had an amazing day, first day of school, very exciting. Excited to meet you and be a part of your community. We are actively looking for community partners on our local school decision-making committee too. So I wanted to share that piece with everybody, and ditto to Mr. Miller. it was just a beautiful day, seeing all the children come after the staff have put a lot of dedication hours into preparing their classrooms. And special shout out to all our families and community members for all their support, getting our grounds together and our space together. So thank you.
Okay, now you shouldn't be surprised because you know I was gonna have to say something. I just want to take the time to recognize the daughters of the American Revolution. I had a bag sitting in my office, no name, just a whole bunch of new stuff, new underwear, new socks, things that we need for the children. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Where did this come from? No name. But I know it was the daughters of the American Revolution, and I must acknowledge what you've done to help the children. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So the next is going to be from CRC, the Rec Center.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Miller. I'm the Service Area Coordinator for Mt.Washington Recreation Center. And we too were happy to see the kids go back to school today. It was a long summer. But we had a great, successful summer, 10 weeks. The sidewalk chalk guy was here. The kids had a great time. We had a great turnout. We were maxed out in numbers. We're already maxed out in our after school programs. But we do have openings in our before school programs. And starting this fall, we'll be starting some evening things for teenagers, kids 12 and up, for things for them to do in here. So please make sure to check our gym calendars and our program guides out front to see what we're going to be bringing for the fall months. So other than that, I really don't have anything else other than to thank the community and everybody for the support during the summer, because I know our kids are loud at the pool, loud in the field and everything. So thank you again, especially all the neighbors that live on Cambridge. We appreciate you. Any questions for me? Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next up is the Kirk. Bob, what do you have for us?
First of all, we need to thank two groups for taking care of the flowers coming up the hill. First group that came was MWCC, brought their planners out, they did very, very well. But then, 2 weeks ago, on a Saturday, the Anderson Hills Church across from Anderson Town Center, they showed up with an army. And they did tons down there. Then they went to Mt.Washington School and did more tons. I mean, lots and lots of work. And it was very nice to see both groups taking care of that down there, plus the school. So that's my shout outs. Good news. Next Monday, Dunkin' Donuts starts construction. So that's the good news coming up there. MWCURC, SPAC, and the American Legion, we're having a ceremony for 9/11, and there'll be free hot dogs and chips and things like that, plus water for there. But we are also selling the bricks for 9/11. So the application's on the back. You get 3 lines, and those count spaces, and the brick's $100. And basically, all the money will stay for the flag post and landscaping around there. So we'd love to sell a lot of bricks. So it's a good value. Your name will always stay at the park. So hopefully you can take one of these home, or you can fill it out tonight, and we'll be happy to take the money. So that's there. And then I guess the fall is here. September 26th is the first spaghetti dinner, and they're now at the Mt.Washington United Methodist Church, which is unfortunately, thanks to them, we've had good success over the past 9 years. We started down at the Sonic Lodge, then we went to 484. Now we're at the church on Courtly. It's $10 and $5 for children under 12. This supports keeping the lights on the tower. So we need a lot of support from there. So there's flyers on both of those here for you. One more announcement. Pumpkin Chuck needs parking. The Baptist Church said yes. So they're going to do parking. They're working on their buses. I don't have an answer until next week, but it sounds like they're going to try to work out that you have 2 buses that you can be able to use. I don't know what's going to charge or if they're going to charge it, but the pastor, a couple people from his church got sick this Sunday. I don't want to say they had the answer by tonight. But it looks like, but you definitely have this whole parking lot. That's all new.
Thank you, Bob. All right, next is the MWCDC.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Linish. I am a community development fellow working with the Mt.Washington CDC. I have some exciting news. We have officially set a date for our second holiday market. Mark your calendars for November 21st. And if you have any crafty friends or friends that love food or anything, feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, mark your calendars. Thank you.
Thank you. And then next is going to be SPAC.
Good evening. It's been a weird summer, right? Like it's been wet, it's been hot and wet. We do all of our events outside. I'm thankful that we've only had to cancel one event and reschedule another. I think we've actually got lucky considering almost every day it seems like something new is coming through the air. We've lost some big trees. If you walk the trails, we've had some big, beautiful trees that we've lost, but things are still going. Hopefully we don't have to cancel or reschedule anything else. Sunday is Shakespeare in the Park. We've done this for years. It gets a great turnout. If you're into Shakespeare, if you're just into watching people laugh and you don't understand what they're laughing at, that's me. I'm sitting there, I wait for a cue, and if somebody laughs at a line, I'm like, that must have been funny, and then I laugh because I don't understand Shakespeare. It does bring out 100, 150 people, so we'd love to see a few more. It starts at 7 o'clock. September 4th, we're going to have live music with a local band called the Love Handles. They do kind of soul music, and we'll have a taco truck. Alcoholic beverages will be available, inflatables. It's a big family-friendly event. It's Labor Day weekend that Friday from 6 to 9. Bob already touched after that. September 11th, we're doing the memorial at the park at the new flagpole. After that's going to kick off movie season at the park. So we're going to do 3 Fridays where we show a family-friendly movie at the park at dusk. So we'll start off with the 9/11 memorial and then move into a movie afterwards and do that for the next 3 Fridays. And then it kind of all culminates with the pumpkin chuck. I saw it's on the agenda later, so I don't want to steal any thunder there, but everybody's been working really hard at throwing the biggest, best pumpkin chuck ever. So definitely looking forward to that. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on at the park? Nikki?
Are you gonna have a flyer for the movies in particular?
Once we decide the movies.
That's fine. You can
Yes.
send it to me and I'll make sure our families get it.
Absolutely. Yes, your family's spent out big time for our movies, so just need some suggestions. If anybody has suggestions on movies, I'm all ears. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. All right, next is going to be an update from the American Legion. And Rick, you're our next one, so if you want to stay up for the safety
Yes, I
committee.
will.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, American Legion, the last charity concert that we did, this was for the Tender Mercies organization. We were able to contribute $1,400 to that organization. So fantastic. Our next charity concert will be for the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. It will be a week from Thursday, August 27th, 7:30. Come listen to a band, have a drink or two. We have smash burgers for sale. Good stuff. I mean, fries. Oh, don't tell my doctor. Know that if you put in the contribution bucket, the American Legion is gonna match it. So come enjoy the night and support a good cause. Next up, Mt.Washington Community Council Safety Committee. This is a new committee that the board has asked me to organize. And so here we go. On your table, I put just a little handout. There's only 2 per table because you all know that I am too cheap to make color copies for everyone. But these are some of the projects. I guess the safety committee is kind of an extension of, if you remember, the RPP program, Rick's Pet Peeves. These are some of the ones that we've worked on. There's the pedestrian safety flags. Marcy, 2 flags in front of Sands walked away. They were lost, but in like 3 or 4 days, they came back. So they're happy with their home. So anyway, we started that program and it has been very successful. People were just using the heck out of it. Really, it surprised me. 2 other projects that I've worked on as an RPP, there was a utility pole on Sutton that a car hit. And as you can see by the picture, how this thing was still standing is beyond me. Definitely a safety issue. I was waiting for a gust of wind to come along and blow it over and take utility lines with it and maybe hurt someone. That's fixed. The only problem is it took almost 2 years of constant complaining, and it finally got fixed, which I'm going to talk a little more about that later. Also in the lower right-hand corner, there was a handicap ramp. And for over 2 years, that handicap rail was laying on the sidewalk. It has been fixed. That thing is bolted down. You can grab onto it and shake it as hard as you can. It's not gonna go anywhere, but 2 years, that's a problem. And one of the things that I wanna try and accomplish is, how come these things are taking so long? I'm impatient, and sometimes I may be annoyingly persistent. Those of you who know me know that annoying, yeah, I can do that really well. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Question on that.
Can I wait until after I'm done and answer questions? Okay, all right. So the first step I'm going to take is in the month of September, the city has a 311 academy. Part of this committee is going to heavily involve 311, reporting incidents to 311, and I'm looking forward to attending that. It's actually going to be 4 meetings during the month of September, which are on Wednesday nights. So sorry, you're not going to see me next month, but it's for a good cause. I want to find out, is there maybe information that I'm not including that needs to be included? How can we report issues better and maybe better convey urgency, especially when it comes to safety? So I want to find that out. This is also going to be a golden opportunity to meet face to face the people at 311, also some city leaders at 311. So I'm looking forward to gaining more information, maybe help us be a little smarter and better define this process so we can get better results when we report things. Make sense? Okay. So that's my first step. And During that time, I want to collect volunteers for this committee. Now, know that when I say volunteers, I'm not looking for watchers, I'm looking for workers. If you volunteer for this committee, be ready to bring all of your pet peeves to the meetings. Be ready to report them on 311. If it takes follow-up a month after that, be ready to do that. But this is going to be a working committee. So that's my goal for September. October, I will want to have our first meeting. I'm planning on using the new meeting space at the public library. I'll have more information on where and what time when we get there. Sorry, I gotta go back to my cheat list here. Some of the possible next projects, there is a crosswalk in front of the American Legion. There is a school bus during the school year that lets off kids at the corner of Benville and Sutton. And this crosswalk, the lighting, the lights that identify it, there are no signs. It's woefully inadequate. We have safety flags, pedestrian safety flags, but that's one issue that I want to start making noise about, so that perhaps we can take that crosswalk and do a little better as far as conveying to vehicles that, hey, this is a crosswalk. There are kids crossing Sutton, which is kind of a busy street. Pothole reporting could be a function of this community. In the past, I've organized a small group of people, and we've started at the top of the hill, like around the Kroger building, and we've walked down Beachmont and on 311 reporting potholes. We've had someone drive to the bottom of the hill to give us a ride back up the hill because I'm not walking back up the hill. Also, hopefully, the community council will be able to designate some NSP funding next year for a laptop projector and screen, so that number one, we can stop killing trees with all these handouts, and every meeting or so, do a 311 how-to demonstration. Here's how you report a pothole. Here's how you report a broken site, things like that. So that'll be part of what this committee can do. I'm sure if you sign up, I'm sure you can probably think of many other things that perhaps this committee could do. So I guess in a nutshell, that is the new Mt.Washington Safety Committee. Can I answer questions? Go ahead.
You already answered with the 311.
Okay, good.
When you came to our meeting, the current meeting last week, we got out the liners were all gone out of the town, out of all the garbage cans.
Oh, yeah.
I called Susan Magnus. They were all replaced. In this floor.
I got your name on that.
Every liner that's.
Okay, yeah. And that, I guess I'm going to clarify one thing. When we say community safety, we're not talking about crime. We're talking about the physical attributes of our community and safety issues in that realm. There's lots of, I've been asked several times about issues that really fall under the realm of beautification. Medians at the bottom of the hill, weeds, and this would not include that. However, once we get this committee up and running, if things are going smoothly, if we have enough volunteers, if we run out of safety issues, that'd be wonderful. We can certainly change this to the Mt.Washington Community Council Safety/Beautification Committee. So, any other questions? Done.
Thank you, Rick. All right, so the next item on our agenda is the community budget request proposals. You should have packets on your tables for those. I don't have a packet here, so if I go out of order of anything, I apologize for that. Oh, actually, I am getting one. Perfect, thank you. So the first thing I wanted to start out by explaining this process for anybody who's either doesn't remember or wasn't here for it before and isn't familiar. So the community budget request process, it happens once every 2 years. This is our chance to tell the city what we would like them to earmark for our neighborhood in their budget. It is a competitive process. We have not gotten any proposals passed in the since 2020 or so. And to do this, we do need to look at their criteria. So the criteria is they need to be capital improvements. They can't be things like maintenance or landscaping. And they need to be something that's going to benefit the community for a minimum of 5 years. And as well as we need to reach out to the departments that would be doing them to discuss viability. So we brought this up in the spring to open it up for any ideas that people had. We received a couple different submissions as well as working with the other neighborhood organizations. And we brought those to the city and we had more than 3 of them, but we had them narrow it down to our 3 most competitive as we are maxed out at 3 requests that we are allowed to submit. Now, submitting these does not mean that we will necessarily get them approved. Hopefully we do get at least some of them approved. And when they do get approved, they will take time to actually occur. Now that could be next year, that could be in, I think some of them that we're having done this year were put in about 2020. So it could be 6 years from now. Now with that, we have come up with something that we think is competitive and that we're hoping to get passed. And we wanted to bring it here for approval from the general board to make sure that this does have support of everybody here. So with that, our 3 proposals are a ADA compliant restroom in the Kyle Plush Pavilion in Stanberry Park. This is something that was highlighted by the Stanberry Park Advisory Council as something that was originally one of the goals when that building was first put in. The second is going to be the funding, design, and implementation of improving Plymouth Avenue, which would be curbs, gutters to better define the street, sidewalks, and added parking capacity, which would help the businesses within our business district. As many people probably know, parking has been an issue within our business district that a lot of the businesses have been frustrated with, and we're hoping to expand that as well as walkability in our business district to make it safer for pedestrians as well as more conducive for our businesses. The third is to allocate funding for the planning, design, acquisition, and construction of a shared use pedestrian and bike path from Ranchville to Crestview. So if anyone's not already aware, there is the first half of this, which was actually, I think, approved. I think this was one of the ones in 2020. And this would be connecting us to the Little Miami. However, what was approved then and what got funded only came up to Ranchville. Now, obviously, that's not near our business district, so we're hoping that we can get them to finish the job. This is something that has been on the city's radar, as I'll show you in one of the later slides. So the first one, the ADA compliant restroom, touched on all these a little bit already, but right now we don't have an ADA compliant restroom, so people with disabilities are not best served within that park. Now, there is a private donor who has offered funding for part of the restroom, and so what the Stanberry Park Advisory Council had asked was to request that the city connect this building to the sewers. And so that would be our request, is to connect the Kyle Plush Pavilion to the sewers so that they can then work with their donor to finish the bathroom in the pavilion. The next one is the Plymouth Avenue. So, as I mentioned, parking has been very contentious there. The sidewalks aren't great. We're talking about the one strip from Beachmont to Oxford. And so this wouldn't be all of Plymouth, just that first block. And we're hoping to get more sidewalks, a better defined curb. I don't know if anybody's parked there, but half of that street is kind of a ditch where you park rather than defined parking. And so we're hoping to clean that up and add more parking there. That's public parking. And one of our requests, we can't promise this because we put in a request and then the city decides exactly how they want to do it. We would like that to not be metered. I know metering is definitely something that discourages a lot of people from using those parking spots. And so we want this to be something that people don't feel discouraged to park at. And then the final one, that bike path extension. So if you look at the graphic, the solid line is what is already connected, and that dotted line is what is partially what is being proposed by this and partially what is already funded and will be constructed in the fall/winter. It's a little hard to see on here as it looks like some of the side streets didn't come out very clearly, but the first maybe half or a third of that dotted line is the one part that is already funded. And this picture is actually from the city site itself, and they have that path coming up to Crestview. So this is something that is already on the city's radar and something that they have already been planning and want to do. And so we're hoping that this will give them that nudge to actually finally allocate the funding to finish the job. Do we have any questions? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, talking about the bike path a little bit more. I'm an avid biker. I care a lot about biking activity, and I was wondering if the amount that the city has done is what like the bike path going down the hill that reaches the real like paved bike path, is that technically already finished? Like, you know how they have going down. No, I'm talking about going down the hill. They have a designated like
Bike lane, yeah.
Is that their finished version, or do they intend to protect it?
No, that is not the finish. That is the existing one that we're hoping to get replaced in the first half that is going to be replaced. So the idea is that it's not a bike lane, that's part of the route, but they have planned for that other half that we're asking them to extend, is they're supposed to put in a green barrier with then a true multi-use path that's wide enough to go up and downhill, because yeah.
That's huge, because I was like, that's not super protected, and as an avid cyclist, I don't feel safe right now as it is to traverse that. Like, I drive it every time.
Yeah.
I wanna die.
No, I absolutely.
But yeah, that's what I was trying to understand. So they truly intend to extend it and really protect it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so.
really good to hear. When did you say the construction would start? Yes.
So it is scheduled for this fall and winter of this year. So we should be seeing it hopefully soon. I haven't seen any set date, but you know, all the communications from the city is that it's going to be in the fall and winter of this year.
That's extremely amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it.
That's really great.
Yeah, Art, and then I got you next.
Personal comment in regards to what Chief had said there about protection. To me, to spend money on a bike path that is not protected is a total waste of money.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not an avid biker, I've biked all my life. I wouldn't touch Beachmont with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Because my husband and I would walk up through Mt.Washington. He crossed over, I said, "You gonna use the flags?" And he goes, "I don't know." I said, "Try." Well, he felt like I did when I used the flags. I wanted to throw it in their dark window.
Yeah.
Because they don't stop. Anybody. No. It infuriates me.
Yeah.
Those 25 and see how many people get mad.
No, absolutely. People go very fast on
Something's
Beachmont.
got to be done about
It has
it.
to be protected.
Yeah.
If people are gonna use it.
Yeah, that actually kind of touches on one of the ones that got filtered out from our budget request proposals. We had looked at doing a traffic study at Beachmont. We were kind of told that this wasn't the right avenue for that, so that was not going to get approved. And so that's the reason that we decided not to do that, because if we're told that something's not gonna get approved, we didn't wanna waste one of our things for it, but I absolutely agree. And it is something that we hear a lot. People drive very fast on Beachmont, and exactly. So that's where this trail would have, I don't know exactly the width, but a green space, probably this or so. Probably similar to like where you see like the sidewalk and then like a green path there. Maybe slightly bigger, and then yes, a big multi-use path so that you can have people with strollers going up and down. You can have bikes going up and down. That's the other thing with the bike path.
Will like exist in some way. In
Yes.
Columbus, they made a greenway that had actual like posts, so
Okay.
that cars are not going to hit you, physically, because people do drive fast, like she mentioned. Do you know exactly what's involved in the
I don't know about posts. My guess is that they're not going to have posts, but what I'm picturing is that there will be like some trees, not like a full row, but kind of like you have by the cemetery where there's like a tree here, a tree there. Now
Just
that
something like some sort of like visible barrier between you and the cars, because
yeah,
if there isn't, people will just hit you.
yeah, I understand that. Any other questions? All right, then in that case, I'm gonna make a motion to approve these. Do we have a second and then we can vote on it? All right, and then all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, perfect. Glad to hear it. Next, we have community composting by the Queen City Commons.
Hello, my name is Julia. I'm a native Cincinnatian. I am a co-founder of Queen City Commons. We are a food scrap drop-off and collection service. We've been operating since 2020. And we recently implemented a food scrap drop-off bin over at the Mt.Washington Presbyterian Church. So in partnership with the City of Cincinnati and their Office of Environment and Sustainability, we've received some grant funding to implement these drop-off bins in many different neighborhoods within the city. And the idea is that these bins are kind of located in community areas that are accessible for people to drop off, that are close to their homes or close to work. And the idea is that these bins are available for folks who want to be composting their food scraps, but maybe live in an apartment and don't have access to a yard. Maybe they don't have the time. Maybe they just don't want to compost in their backyard. So we have implemented this drop-off bin. It's our first one kind of this far east. We've been focusing most of this past year in over the Rhine, downtown, north side, some of the more densely populated areas in the city, but received a lot of requests from folks in Mt.Washington that wanted these drop-off bins here. So we started with one with our generous host. It is in the parking lot at Mt.Washington Presbyterian Church. And this is an opt-in program, so you have to sign up to access the bin. Currently, with the City of Cincinnati funding, the bin is completely free to access for 3 months, so it's very low risk to sign up and try it and see if you're excited about bringing your food scraps there. After the 3 months, it is a sliding scale, pay what you can fee to continue accessing the bin, so it's $4 to $20 a month. We're trying to keep this as affordable as possible to keep folks composting their food scraps with us. And then the other exciting thing about our program is that everything that we collect is composted with local farms. So all of the food scraps we collect commercially and residentially get composted with farms here in Cincinnati and Hamilton County, and that is all data that we keep. So then we offer that back to you that, hey, Mt.Washington residents, all of your food scraps were composted at this farm over in North College Hill, and they grew more food with it, and then you can go buy some produce that was grown in your food scraps. So it's a pretty fun circular program. You can find it at queencitycommons.com or also going to the City of Cincinnati Office of Environment and Sustainability website. Like I said, you get that 3 months free at the beginning, and then you can also get a collection bucket as well that has a compost guide, so you know what's compostable. We're mostly taking vegetative scraps from your kitchen, but can also pick this up for free at ETC Produce in Walnut Hills. Just go there and say that you want your free compost bucket, and they will give you one. Trying to think if there's anything else. Does anybody have any questions about the program at all? Yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
How long has it been
Yeah, so Queen City Commons has been in operation since 2020. We've collected about 2.5 million pounds of food scraps in 6 years. And this partnership that's contracted with the city of Cincinnati started about a year and a half ago. So it's been pretty successful across the city of Cincinnati. We have over 1,500 people that are using our drop-off bin. So it's been really exciting to see that people want to be composting their food scraps. Yeah.
I did something similar to that in Columbus when I lived in an apartment, and I didn't realize that something existed here.
Yes, yeah. There's we're part of a larger national model. Community composting is kind of the version of it that we're trying to do, and so there's a lot of community composters all across Ohio and the country trying to do these kind of more community-oriented drop-off programs, which is pretty exciting. I'll be here till the end of the meeting. I've got some flyers and also fun compost stickers. So if you want to have any questions, or if you have questions about your backyard compost pile too, I'd be happy to answer them for you. So, yeah. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right. So next we have a update on traffic calming. I have this for Beachmont and Westego, but I also want to mention Salem and Wayside as well, as these are kind of in the same status. So we have reached out to the city on both of these, as well as writing letters to the city about, that these are dangerous intersections that we want taken care of. And what that looks like is a little separate for each one of them. I know Westego, we're looking for a light, whereas on Salem, we're looking at more of speed bumps. Sorry for that, but yes. So we have submitted those to the city. Now, as far as actually being able to get the city to execute it, what they have told us is that we need to submit them for the we get 2 traffic calmings biannually that we can submit. And so they did not currently have a date set for that submission. However, we are going to be following up with them. And when they do open that up, then we are going to, kind of similar to the budget requests, bring those proposals here for everyone to vote on and general membership approval. And that is where those will be submitted, where we do have a little bit more power to hopefully get those achieved as well. Do we have any questions for these? All right, then we'll move on to Margot with MWCC merch, something we're very excited.
We got merch? Woo! Yay! I won't bring the whole rack, but because of you guys. Sorry. So because of you guys, thank you very much. We were able to get some merch. So we have tie-dye long sleeve t-shirts. We have some here for sale. Cash and credit cards will be accepted today. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, and then long sleeve t-shirts. So the sweatshirts are $30, long sleeve t-shirts $25, and then the t-shirts are $20. So super cozy, soft. Take a look. And we're gonna have merch all the time. So Bob, thanks for the hookup with Mark. So thank you guys. Without you, no merch. Thank you for that. I'm just gonna stay up here and do a pump and chuck update. So on your so pump and chuck is coming up November 7th, faster than you know it. On your tables, you may find a QR code. So we need sponsors. We need money. I'm always up here asking for money. So we need money. We're trying to raise $20,000 for the 20th anniversary of Pump and Chuck, which should be no sweat. So far, with very little effort, we've raised over $2,000, right? Give or take. So go ahead, scan those QR codes and just submit any type of money. We do have 3 confirmed food trucks. We have Kebabski, Traveling Tom's Beverage Truck, which we had last year. And then Beverly's Cookie Truck, which is a sister truck to Traveling Tom's. So excited about that one. Waiting to hear back from the taco truck up the street. We're reaching out to more trucks as we speak. Probably only 2 more savory trucks, just FYI. So if anyone knows of a local truck in the neighborhood, I would love to reach out to them. Hold on, I'm sorry. We're having a pumpkin chuck meeting Saturday at Stanberry Park at 10 a.m. if anyone wants to pop into that.
that this Saturday? As in like 3 days from now? Okay, I think that may be it for my updates. John, do you have any financial things?
Do you want to tell them?
More specific?
Our new sponsorship tiers, like the big one?
Sure. So we have increased the sponsorship tiers. So we start off now with a platinum tier. I'll let you all read it. I'm not gonna go into what each tier includes. But the platinum tier, $250. Then it goes up to the diamond tier for $500. Legacy for $1,000, and then presenting sponsor for $2,500. So please consider sponsoring Pumpkin Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Now, that has everything on our agenda. We do have something that we would like to add as well. We are lucky enough to have some people from the city here, from the Citizens Complaint Authority. So if they'd like to come on up and they can tell us a little bit about that program.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Andy Albanese, and I'm an investigator with the Citizens Complaint Authority. This is my colleague.
Joseph Vesper, investigator with the Citizens Complaint Authority.
One real quick fact about us: we are not 311. So yeah, do not call us. We do not investigate complaints that I heard you talk about. Now, if you didn't see us, we're nodding our heads in the back, like yeah, oh yeah, yes. But no, the Citizens Complaint Authority, we investigate allegations of police misconduct. We're a civilian oversight agency. We provide oversight for the Cincinnati Police Department. So complaints we may receive at our office are people upset maybe they were stopped when they were driving. Maybe they're arrested and they weren't happy they were arrested. Maybe they were handcuffed and felt they shouldn't have been handcuffed. We take complaints of that nature. We conduct independent and thorough investigations on those. We review video materials, we review paper evidence, we interview the officers, we interview the people involved. Once we compile all that data, we write investigative reports, and those reports are submitted to a board, and if the board approves them, those reports are forwarded to the city manager. We don't have at CCA the authority to fire people or do this or that. Really, our sole focus at CCA is to recommend policy updates and to look at current policy to see if it needs to be updated, to see where the holes are in the system that need to be addressed. That's what we do. The reason why I'm here with you good people tonight is I wanted to let all of you know that we have over in Madisonville, not here, I'm sorry, it may require a short drive, but in Madisonville at the Madisonville Recreation Center at 5320 Stewart Avenue on August 27th, we're gonna have a listening session. And all that is we want to hear from citizens of Cincinnati. We want to hear about your experiences with police. We want to hear concerns you may have. We are there just to listen. It's not an argument from us. We're not going to get defensive on anything. We're there just to listen to the community that we work for. If anybody has any interest in this event, these flyers are right over there on the table. Feel free to take one. And if you want to show up, you can. There is a little QR code here to attend online. If you can't make that drive to Madisonville from here, or if you just have, like me, you have a small kid at home and just things you got to get done, but you want to partake, feel free to scan that code and get involved that way if you wish. But that's all I have. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, and that's all we have today. I do want to. Oh, all right. So we can have a message from our police.
Good evening. They saving the best for last. The statistics. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you want me to just pass it around. Somebody take one. I'm Officer Ryan Williams. I am your new neighborhood liaison officer. So thank you for letting me be a part of your community. I've been with the department about 7 years. Oh, also I have with me my sergeant, and then I also have my captain, and they're here with me, and they might want to speak on some issues because I've been here for about 3 weeks. It's Linda Sellers and Captain Wilson. They know. They know you. Okay, no introduction needed. I've been over here in District 2. I was raised in Madisonville, but I've been working here for in the unit for about 3 weeks. So I'm getting some phone calls, I'm getting some concerns, and I want to, let you guys know to trust me to allow me to help you address everything that we have going on today and further issues in the future. So the crime stats, we did have we had no serious crimes reported. No, I'm sorry. We had one violent crime reported this month. And from just looking at that, it was a prolonged aggravated assault, it looks like, and it was a boyfriend, girlfriend type of deal. Maybe some intoxication was there listed in the report. And supposedly the female actually stabbed the male and he received stitches. So that was the one violent incident that we did have reported after the 28 days. Other than that, we did have some property crimes in terms of theft from auto and 2 personal crime properties. And I know that in one of those personal crimes, it was an elderly female that had withdrew a large amount of money from the bank and gave it to this random person that picked her up and told her like somebody needed her help. And she had some dementia issues. So we always just want to be really cognizant of our community and who's around. And luckily the daughter had found out like, what happened to you today? And she's like, oh, I just withdrew, several thousand out the bank. And she's like, what? So we, want to just check in on our elderly people and, checking on them and see where we can be assistance to them. I know that the Stansbury Park has been a big issue here that I'm hearing about, and I was surprised. I did get a couple phone calls on that recently, and we went up there. I did have the homelessness folks from Cincinnati come and address some issues. They did have some more people back up there, and I think it was a regular, so to speak, that came back up there. They assured me today and sent some pictures that they had cleaned it up and also had them vacate. So I do plan on staying on top of that because I know that that is a big, big focal point here as well. So I think that's all I have. Anything from my people?
How are you all doing? I'm happy y'all got a regular neighborhood officer since Wendy left because that means I wouldn't have to. I like coming, I like seeing you all. But I know y'all tired of me standing up here going, you don't have a neighborhood officer. Just, yeah, you'll be getting one. But I'm happy with Officer Williams. She's really personable, as you can tell. And she's really hit the ground running and want to do some things. So we did get a couple complaints that came in reference to some signs. The spaghetti dinner sign was one of them. And then the other complaint was, what was the other complaint, Bob?
It was our sign up by Kroger's. We found out what guy looks like. He rides a bike. He's around 60 years old, white guy, and has gray hair. He rides a black bicycle. But he covered our sign and put, I ran one, gas with an arrow up, and soldiers dead. He put it over our sign. So we did that, and then something about Republic somebody. He puts on those on our signs also. But
we reached out to our law department, who works with the Quality of Life unit. He's an attorney, Dakota Parish, and he advised us that there could be some criminal mischief there. However, we would have to obviously know who it is. We would have to know who the owner is of the property. It would take a lot to try to investigate and figure out all of that.
If anybody sees him messing with signs like this, take a picture of him.
Or call us. Officer Williams, you have your cards. So she has some business cards that she would leave. Yeah. He's called a couple of times, as you know. So yeah, so if you see something, say something, jump on it pretty quickly and we'll
If we don't know the answer, we'll definitely know where to find the answer and try to deal with it, because if you're trying to do neighborly, friendly stuff, I having a spaghetti dinner, and you guys been doing it for, I don't know how many years, about now, 6 or 7 years, since I've been in the union, I know you guys have been doing it. So, just let us know. And also, again, we know that you guys will be having some events. So you still do the fall movie. So if you're dealing with some unhoused issues, again, let us know so that we can jump on that pretty quick for your movie nights. And also, I know the pumpkin chuck, all that stuff is coming up. If you have any other events, let us know so that if we want to come and be present and be there, we'll know in time enough to make sure somebody's there. Also, I would like to introduce our new captain, Rob Wilson, to you all.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I'm making it out to all the communities I've now seen engaged. I will say this, out of all the meetings I've been to so far, this is by far the largest crowd that I've seen, so kudos to you guys. Beautiful to see that kind of engagement. There's been a couple we've gone, there's like 4 or 5 people in there, so it's really refreshing to see so many people engaged and involved in the community. I know that Mr. Duke's gone through quite a bit of transition. There was Dennis, and then Swingley Richardson, and now me. That's all within like 2 years, I think. So that's a lot. Changeover. I'm hoping to bring some stability to District 2. I have about 18 years left in my career, so I don't think I'm going to be here for 18 years. I love you guys, but that's a very, very long time. But with that said, I have a vision of getting into the community. I've been walking. I walked Mt.Washington a couple of weeks ago. I met Kevin at that vintage toy store. I met Emmy over at she sells the antiques and other things and stuff. So I'm getting out there. I'm meeting people. I'm trying to get a good sense of what's going on in the community. I encourage you guys to make sure that you're maintaining that communication with certain sellers and Ryan. It is just so important that we know what you guys are experiencing, because obviously I don't know where you live, but I don't live in Mt.Washington, and Linda doesn't. So your lived experience is much different than ours coming through and just seeing it touch and go sometimes. So please keep that communication open with us. One thing I know that we've got a lot of complaints about speeding. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Zen Cities survey popping up in your social media feeds, but we're getting a lot of that feedback on Beachmont. So I actually detailed an officer to the NLU that's specifically for traffic enforcement and doing the overtime workers. So that's his sole purpose. He's not going out there and doing accidents. He is hitting those spots where we're seeing the most traffic crashes and the most complaints of speeding, to try and make sure that we're trying to tamp that down, because that's an issue that can affect anybody. You know, you're walking with your kid and they decide to take off into the street and someone's speeding and you're going too fast to stop. Those are the things that can really affect anybody. So I've heard it and we're addressing it. So, yes, sir.
Captain, I'm interrupting about something that you're talking about, something that if the police department would be able to echo the problem that we see traffic calming wise at the intersection of Wayside and Salem, whether it's 2 blind curves. And I've tried for a couple of years.
I'm not trying to cut it off. I just want to make sure I get the intersection correct.
Wayside and Salem is an intersection that is controlled from coming up the hill on Salem towards Wayside City.
Is this where the gas station is?
No. If you're coming from Kellogg,
okay,
up, and then Wayside is maybe the 3rd Street.
It's like 3 quarters out with.
Yeah, and then Township, Anderson Township begins at the other half of the intersection. And we have a problem there that the township and the county, because of the Ohio laws, there have to be so many accidents or deaths at that intersection before they will calm it with 4-way stop or from the police department, in other words, words can come to the city, this is dangerous, because if you're on Salem, if you're on Wayside trying to turn left on the Salem, you take your life in your hands every time, because they're two blind curves, and you can look left, right, and you still can be wrong.
So, and just so I know, this intersection, is it in the county or is it in the city?
The portion of it is in the city, portion of it is in the county. Right on the border. The city could put a speed bump there, which would help considerably, because it would slow down the traffic some, so that you don't get hit on your right
So
side.
I know through some of the traffic calming efforts I did up at Coleraine Avenue when I was in District 5, DOT is very hesitant to put speed humps on curbs. So that might be an issue, but I can forward this on to traffic engineering and try and see if there's a solution for it.
Yeah, anything would help.
Have they done the survey here? They have not done the survey.
Not to my
I've had
knowledge.
petitions, I've had petitions from my neighborhood, comes to the council here, this was 2 years ago.
And what did the council do with it? Did they come out and do a survey?
Just Mt.Washington community.
Yeah.
Are you saying 2 years ago that this was that you're saying?
I originally started this 2 years ago.
Because actually, the council can get something done faster than us. Because if it comes from, then it gets something done faster than.
So how do we get a hold of the city councilman?
Because you guys would go through your.
So we've put in a letter to the city, and then we've been instructed that we need to put it in through the formal traffic calming. Is there another process that you know of that we can use? Well, it hasn't come up yet, so that's,
Okay, it's not open yet.
yeah.
So that's when it goes, that's when everybody gets their speed bumps, that's the process, like we can't speed it up through that's the process. But it'll come faster from you guys than us, but you gotta stay on it, get it in really
Yeah.
quickly, so that,
I'll still reach out to DOT and just put it on their radar, so that way, when that goes through that process, they're already aware of it and they understand that this is.
Trying to avoid that.
and we can request a survey, you still can request to get it surveyed by, DOT, they can still come on the survey.
Thank you.
The other one that we're working on is Wasico and Beachfront. That's
You're getting rear-ended all the time.
going into Wasico, going out of Wasico on the beachfront. It's blind.
What are we doing about the school this year? Because I know the school was an issue last year. People trying to cross the street at the school. We ended up doing a detail up here where officers had to come up here. Are we gonna need that this year again, or? What is the teachers?
We have a crossing guard now. We went a full school year with no crossing guard, and that's when it was really dangerous. I think, Emily, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we've been in a better situation since we got the crossing guard.
I think we've been in a better situation in the first couple days of school. We had car line, as well, today was our first day.
Yeah.
And then dismissal, our car line went all the way down quickly on both.
Can you keep Officer Williams abreast so that we can make sure we get a car, report this bad, take a car and let us know. We need help.
Thank you.
Yep, Rick?
Yeah. Motorized scooters and bicycles. Some of the things I see on sidewalks and streets, Lord, they go faster than I do with my Subaru. Are there any laws, or are you, obviously there are? Yes, so there are laws in place. I mean, how old are these folks you're seeing?
12 and 13.
So, and I saw one the other day, it was my age. You got a scooter you can sit on. It's gonna come street. The thing is for kids 15 and under, they're actually required by law to be on the sidewalk. That they cannot ride in the street, because it's supposed to treat like, basically acting as a vehicle in the roadway, whereas a child is not allowed to drive, so they're supposed to be on the sidewalk.
Are there speed limits on sidewalks?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can look in, I know there was some kind of rating with.
Yeah.
Cycling.
Yeah, depending on what kind of e-bike it is and the engine size and how fast it goes, it could be illegal.
Just passing that.
Cause it's like tiers, like I think they say it's like 1, 2, 3 level tiers or something like that. So, you know, if I'm up here, which I do a lot of, I'm learning, I get the walking patrol and I've been sitting at Stanbury Park and walking around there. If I see one, then it's not an issue for me to approach and, you know, tell them. I know we've actually called, some kids identified and called parents and like, you know, your kid is doing this at this location. So we try to address it as best as we can, try to make sure we have no issues. Because, you know, somebody can get hurt on those bikes.
One thing I saw in the news was that New York City is actually filed something against like Amazon and some of the other big box retailers, basically saying that, and I don't know how they do it, but basically telling them you cannot sell these particular products because they are illegal in New York City. So I don't know if that's something that you guys would want to explore, push into the city legislature or not. I don't know how that works. It's something New York City is exploring.
I was doing some reading on like local news, in my hometown, which is up north, Twinsburg. They passed a recent law that said that children under a certain age, the responsibility of those vehicles falls upon the parents. So they passed this law specifically so that the parents will have to take responsibility for their like underage children for these like vehicles that are kind of dangerous, you know. They have to be registered, and then they also have to like, you know, like people were just keeping more of an eye on it, but it was actually written in law in like the town of Twinsburg. You can probably look it up because I was reading that law is spreading to a lot of other like local areas, and I'm not sure if we have something in place in a similar fashion in this area, or if that's just news that I've read.
There's nothing that I've heard that would be a more appropriate push for city council. We will enforce the law that they make the law.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm sure it's like, I mean, every single community council meeting we go to, and they talk about these scooters.
Yeah,
So I think that's.
It's mainly like the responsibility pushed towards the parents has the parents being in turn more responsible for their children because there are law written consequences for that action. So an actionable thing happens if their child is caught out on the street doing something dangerous or endangering other people potentially. Anyways.
I think we saw Art with a question, and then we're gonna move over here.
I'm 75 years old, and so I was a Cincinnati public school student my whole life, and a former Cincinnati public school teacher. And, when I was in elementary school, bicycle safety was taught in the curriculum of the elementary school. Whether it's e-bikes or whether it's regular bicycles, I see so many young students, and I realize a lot of the students at the Mt.Washington are bused here from other places, but for the ones that are in, they have no clue. I was driving down the same street that we're here, right here, Beacon, and there were two boys on the wrong side of the street, riding their bicycle in the middle or the wrong side of the street, and I'm driving my car. I roll my window down. I said, "Guys, do you realize you're on the wrong side of the street?" And they have no clue. They don't know that Ohio law requires bicyclists if you're in the street to be proceeding the same as traffic is. That's a problem for schools.
I see more education needs to come out about cycling. Because even in our neighborhood, you got little kids, their parents haven't taught them at least walk. And it's up to somebody to educate these kids on how to ride properly, signals, the whole bit.
That might be something that the police force in conjunction assembly, whatever could be done. This is bicycle safety, this is what the Ohio law requires. Because again, parents probably aren't.
And I mean, that's something that we can explore, but I know like before I joined this unit, I was a school resource officer for almost 5 years. And I had 10 to 15 schools alone by myself, and those included high schools, which Walnut Hills has 3,000 kids alone. So just being able to get to every school and dealing with calls and phone calls, and then, one of us gets, our work is really difficult. And I do believe that, education and educating these kids on bicycles are very, very important. But just speaking coming from being an SRO is very difficult to try to implement that curriculum with our jobs as well. Cincinnati Children's Hospital does that. They have a department just for that. And that's something that Nikki and I know we can take care of and see that our schools get that safety and maybe something that we can bring up.
And I will say that a couple of years ago, the CDC put on a bike safety event here in the neighborhood, and we did promote it at the 2 schools. Teddy was part of that group. And unfortunately, it wasn't a glorious turnout. It was okay, but maybe we can find a repeat of that sometime. Yeah, I think I can do something like that. Yep, in the park. Yep. And everybody got helmets and locks, and we talked about bike safety and that sort of stuff. So we've tried, but maybe we need a refresher. Any other questions? Well, thank you all. You always are one of our best crowds.
Thank you for coming. So I just want to let everybody know an announcement. In the summer, we have to move these meetings up earlier to 6 o'clock as the rec center closes at 8. And you look at today as an example. Sometimes we do go longer than that hour, and we don't like to have to cut people short, so we moved it up to 6 in June and August. However, now next month they will be resuming their normal hours. And all right, so then starting next month, we are going to be meeting at 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock again, which should make it easier for a lot of people. I know sometimes that message gets lost in translation, and some people aren't aware of the update, as well as it can be a harder time for some people to getting right off work. So we're happy to be able to move back to 7 o'clock. And finally, the good of the order. I know Bob already mentioned this a bit, but we'd like to give a shout out to Anderson Hills Church, who did a lot of work around the neighborhood this August. So we really appreciate that. All right, and on that, we're going to adjourn. Thank you very much.
Part-time.